Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome. The Blur Bar is open, and we usher in all you barflies to sit and sip with us.
Oh, yeah.
As we serve up cocktails and culture, we welcome you to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss a video, as well as tapping that like button to show some love. But without further ado, it is time to introduce Tis I, hailing from the land of sake, shinobi, and samurai. He who is Godzilla personified, no other name but this to go by. It's your boy, Jayhawk.
Yo, and he
That's
fly.
great. Hit him one more time.
That boy's so
There it is.
fly.
Yeah.
That boy's so fly.
Yeah. But I am not your only person here on the screen, obviously, so without further ado, please, Big Dan, Rodan.
Y'all know
tell
who
the
it
peoples.
is. It's Big Dan, Rodan. Coming at you live from the 215, the comic book connoisseur, the sommelier of sci-fi and superheroes, here again to welcome you to another episode of the Blurred Bar, My Bar Flies. One more time. Last time. Oh, yes.
I almost wish we had, like a gang sign to throw up.
Nah, that's fine.
Not yet.
We don't.
Like a...
Not
No.
yet. We not
Shinobi.
affiliated yet.
I like the dove.
Boo!
In any
Look at
event,
this man.
blazing trails like Portland, pumping up endorphins. We got the merch, word of mouth, and y'all stay endorsing. Horsing around like Bojack, Bird Bar bumping, y'all know that. We don't miss, y'all know this. Got the AoE damage and the hit stack. Come on, it's your boy, Ace, Trainer, Argent, Stalwart Shield of South Philly, a.k.a. The Living Codex, a.k.a. Professor Oak favorite godson, a.k.a. y'all already know. Okay, welcoming you
That's
to the
a
bar
bad man.
of the Blurds.
You got too
We're the
many
Blurds.
That was
aliases.
a very that intro had a very Childish Gambino feel.
It
I
did.
liked it.
Don't. I'm actually gonna cry, dog. Don't say that to me.
He feels so honored right now. You piped him up. I don't
Like the end.
listen.
The end of it.
No, it was.
The
It
end
was
of
dope.
It was like very like I was like, oh, okay.
Now his head won't fit on the screen. It's gonna be crazy. This is
No, it's fine. It's fine. See, it's cool. It's fine.
somebody
Let's
tag him real
continue.
quick. Anyway,
Let's continue.
So today, with all that being done, we have to move on to the next and only segment.
Thus far.
Right, thus far.
Until.
We're gonna do some booze,
Booze.
some news, and we're gonna get in some review.
Review.
I like that.
So, our drunken master of the evening, I believe, is Big Dan Rodan.
Wait,
who
the
is
comic book
coming at us live
connoisseur.
who comes at us live from the 215.
Wait, the sommelier of sci-fi and that.
And superheroes?
And Somalia of wine right now.
So
try
wait,
that.
that's just the sommelier though.
That's right.
Which, by the way, there's a movie about sommeliers. I need to watch it. It's like a black guy who's like being a sommelier.
There's
Really?
also an anime, Drops of God, I think.
Really?
Now we got a thing.
But-
now there's a thing. Now we got homework. So,
Now we got homework.
as you can see, staying in theme for Black History Month, Black Girl Magic on tap yet again. We have Rosé with us this time. Now, I used to be critical of Rosé, personally. I just was like, oh, that's thought juice. But, you know, it's not.
What?
That's what
We're getting that in post. Okay.
Nope, that's what I said. That's what I used to say. But Rosé is, it's a Rosé wine.
Big
And
Dan has
so,
grown.
I am.
Yeah.
And
He used to say that.
I used to say that. I've matured. I've gotten better in life. So, anyway,
It's thought one.
it was thought juice. That's what I used to call it.
I was about to say that. It's not juice.
That sounds
So-
nasty.
It right?
It's
It's gonna go.
Sounds like
This could be
cat
taken
stuff.
any other way. So let's not. We won't go down that.
That
road.
might be a t-shirt.
It's not. Let's
not.
let's drink wine. Let's do that.
Hold on.
Let us know,
I'm gonna give you.
Barflies.
I'm gonna give you some of these notes. Please don't cancel me. I used to be that person. I'm not that person anymore. That was 5 seconds ago. This elegant rosé has vibrant flavors of strawberries, raspberry, and Meyer lemon, with aromatic notes of fragrant white florals. So we want to see how this works. Oh, y'all hit that hard.
It's because it's juice. It has
See,
like no.
Don't quote me on that. I didn't. Don't.
That's not. It's like it has like no punch to it.
It got alcohol.
Like it has alcohol. That is true, but it's not
13%.
I mean, maybe
Is
I'm just
it
maybe
not
I've just
as
never had rosé
complicated?
before.
Are you saying it's not as complicated as some other wines?
I mean, I don't think I've had rosé before. Like I've had reds, and the red has the body. Like this is very light. It's very thin. Goes down super easy. You gotta remind yourself that this is wine. Like you gotta. At least I do. I can't speak for everybody, but I do.
You like the tanginess?
I definitely get the lemon. The lemon is an afternote. You gotta let it breathe, and it'll be like it's not like tasting a lemon, the fruit of it, but like the zest. It's kind of like that feeling.
Okay, no, I feel you on that. So since Sterling, you've had opinions. Where are we at?
3.7 potion bottles out of 5.
It sounded like you had more complaints that it would be less, but okay. Him so nice, so fresh and so clean. Joshua. Are you still working on it?
Not really. It's just I think Laura would like this actually a lot. I'll try to save her some, but
No promises. I got bottled in myself.
because we drink wine so often, and because she usually I have a certain wheelhouse, and she broadens my horizons.
That's his partner, y'all.
This is something that I think she would like, and I'm just like, oh, I've tasted wine like this before. I would give it a 3.
Okay.
Very in the middle of the road. Not something that I would personally gravitate towards, but I know it's not trash. I know it's not garbage. Yeah, I would give it a 3. It's not bad at all. You definitely get the strawberries, I think. That first sip, I was like,
first note is often going to be the fruit part and the berries.
So
I'm
very cool.
I'm getting that. Like I said, I had preconceived notions with rosé prior to this life that I live now. This much more cultured life. And my standards have shifted enough that I can appreciate where it belongs or where you would have it in a certain like in meals. Obviously, this is the hybrid between a white and a red, hence rosé. I could see this paired with a fish. If I had this with a meal, normally this is once again trying not to be mean. This was like a party wine in my mind. Like if you say rosé,
I can see it. Yeah, it's because it's so easy.
Really?
It's so easy.
It's an easy wine to drink. It's not
more than Moscato.
This is very close to a Moscato, almost.
Wow, I would not say that, but okay.
If you gotta line up the big names of wines, you got Zinfandels, Merlots, stuff like that. That's more like high end, classy dinner. This is more like, chicken tenders and fries. I'm being comedic.
Let's
I'm not
move
being
on.
harsh.
I was about to say, I was like, the barflies are gonna wonder, so Daniel doesn't drink wine?
Right.
Is that
No,
what I'm hearing?
I do drink wine.
He also eats chicken nugget.
Don't judge me. Chicken nuggets is the best. I am a father of a 1-year-old. Chicken nuggets is a thing now. So, but no,
this
I would
is,
if I would give this, I would give this a 3 because it's a good wine. It's a better rosé than others I've had that are just like sugar water that poses wine. I won't name brands because we're not reviewing those. We're reviewing this one, so I like this one. I would say a 3. It's right in the middle. It's not high end, but when do you get a chance to have a bunch of high end rosé?
Black owned.
Yeah.
I don't think I wouldn't say that it's not high end.
Right.
I just think,
and forgive me. I'm not saying that it's not quality. It's not on the higher end of the scale for me as a wine that I prefer. I like I like rosé, but I like
that rosé like you too, boy.
Black girl magic.
easy there, little Slippy.
Got it.
I got that holstered at all times. Anyway,
I guess.
it's not a Riesling. I like Rieslings a little bit more. Those are the ones I bang with. If I have a preference of wine, if I have to have wine, I'm more of a hard liquor man. But I like this. Okay, it's a good wine. Go buy some. I'm done.
Go buy it. Tell them we sent you.
You don't get no discount or nothing.
Or don't, because
Yeah, you don't. But at least they'll know.
don't tell them I sent you, because then you'll be like, oh, the guy who talked
Right
about
now.
thought juice, and then it's the whole thing.
Right, yeah. Just say the Blurred Bar sent you,
Right.
and then they'll probably reach out to us. And then next time you can get a discount. Maybe.
Yeah.
Make it happen, Barflies.
Yeah.
You get big enough. Who knows?
We get big enough. So let's see here. Going from booze, we get some news. Anybody got any news? I know I personally don't really have any news.
I got Big Dan,
some.
please.
I got.
Okay, sorry.
Right. So, we heard it. It's in the news. Mm-hmm. The former Mandalorian actress, Gina Carano, got her walking papers. It is what it is. Like, because of social media, color commentary is going to be very necessary, I think, in this scenario. Because from multiple reports, she was warned by Disney before this happened. It was like, hey, chill out. Ease up on the gas pedal. You got views. Everybody got views.
You in the house of mouse right now.
Right.
Let's all go to the
We
house
got
of
rules and
mouse.
regulations.
And, I think she could have been... I understand freedom of speech, right? We have a podcast, therefore freedom of speech is a thing that we obviously adhere by. At the same time, what I often say to people is you can be absolutely you. Unashamed, uninhibited you, at the same time be respectful. And I don't think she did that. So Disney was like, hey, we set your character up in a very particular way that you don't have to be in the show anymore.
That's very true.
Her character, I mean,
That's
at
the
least
thing.
if you watch season 2, they set up her character in a way that they never have to go to that planet again, or if they do, she can be out busy and not being.
She can go up the stairs and never come back down.
Yeah.
She's like, she tripped over a mortar.
So, she went out to buy cigarettes and never came back. It is what it is.
Right.
Bottom line, for everybody yelling about freedom of speech is very important. I will always fight for your right to say whatever, but freedom of speech is not freedom of consequence.
Exactly.
And
True that.
That's just what it is.
And I think that's what it boils down to, right?
Because
Like,
we
it's
are
like,
free to talk
all right,
back to
go
our,
ahead, say what
we're
you
free to talk back to our mamas. But
Don't do it.
try Jesus. Don't try her.
It's like you say you're free to do it, but it's like not really. I mean, yeah, you have the choice. The choice is yours.
The choice is
You
yours.
can go with this, or you can go with that. You can go with
Right.
this, or you can go with that.
Yeah.
And what really sucks about that, I think, is that because of the way that she has left the show, like, she might have just gotten blackballed for, like, any other thing. You know what I mean?
Well,
like,
there was rumors
unless
that
she
she
goes
was
on, like, an
potentially-
apology tour.
Yeah, she was potentially going to be in other parts of the Star Wars Disney Plus TV universe. Not anymore.
Right, but it's like not like that's what I'm saying. But
I don't think she's going to get blackballed out of Hollywood. One, because freedom of speech is a very real thing. At the same time, Hollywood is very, like, right now, sensitive to and not in a negative way, but and sensitive in the sense that, like, yes, your voice can be heard, but at the same time, like, why you got to offend people? Like,
It's a good thing. It's a good, like, we as the consumers of media have to speak up about things to keep our media not lackluster.
Yeah,
like,
I
to
mean-
keep our media to make. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I mean, because the argument can go both ways, right? And for anyone that may have beliefs or feelings, any of that stuff, you're allowed to have those. and those rights stand as an American, as a human. At the same time, there's that bridge where you meet someone else, and if it doesn't align, you shouldn't have to walk away. Neither party should have to walk away offended, is what I'm saying. And if that's the case, where people are getting offended, employment is out there.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, and it's what sucks is that when I saw her on the show, I was like, oh snap, this is cool. Like, getting more like acting roles. Like, I'm always down for people who like those obscure people that you saw that one time on like SVU and like they like show up again in like different shows. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, cool.
Look
like,
at you getting work.
You out here. You out here.
Yeah, you out here getting work. So like,
you got yourself an agent. I see you.
So like, I never knew her viewpoints on anything. I was just a fan because I was like, oh, cool. I know that you've done other work before. And now, like, you're getting even more work. So, like, I was always like, supportive of that and supportive of her. And then she said this, I'm like,
yeah, like,
ooh.
I think what a lot of it has to do is our current political climate, right? And because we had such a polarizing former president, regardless of how you feel about him, he was in the news every day, and so.
If not every day, probably every week.
Right. Or every night in the news. No, he was every day. Yeah.
Right.
But, because of that, then there were people who felt aligned.
Argue that he had a lot of reviews.
He had a lot of reviews.
Not all of them factual, but they were there.
So, but the same thing was a lot of his constituents or people who supported partially, not even fully. Like, if they didn't even fully were on board with him, but it had aligned views at some point, they got put in the spotlight. And I mean, that was largely due to the fact that we all sitting at home and we got time. So now she got time. This is what it is.
She has time. It'll be interesting to see how or if she rebounds, moves on from this. Like,
or you double down and, always play on a soft 17. It is what you do.
It works. Hey, that one works.
But I think to some, this is gonna sound bad.
We can go on the other news. That is an option.
Well, no, because he just said like you can double down on it, and I think if she were to double down on it, it would have to be. It couldn't be in the same way that she started off. Mm-hmm. She would have to be, and for her to still get work, she would have to be like, I'm sorry, but what I meant and what, like, the sentiment behind it or the under.
I want to agree with you, but nope.
No, because I think if she just doubled down, like, nah, I said what I said. This is like being like in the Holocaust. It's like, Now you're definitely like, who are you getting work from, right? And those people who are signing those checks, are you really like, is it a real check? It's not no Disney check, tell you that much. So, but yeah. Any other news?
I got some news.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dan. Do you got?
No. Go ahead.
So Dan often says we are in the darkest timeline, and I have some good news for your works cited page. For Pokemon Day in 2021, it's a virtual concert.
Yeah.
With Post Malone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what that is. I hope everybody has a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I guess like Pokemon, Post Malone.
Nope.
Like,
we are in the darkest timeline.
On the news of Pokemon, on some lighter news, and for the concert, Pokemon is giving out via mystery gift, so you don't have to leave your house, a Pikachu that knows the move Sing, which will be absolutely fascinating if it's allowed in VGC, because that's just a Pikachu that can just put people to sleep.
Break it down for VGC. What is that?
Oh, video game. So, Video Game Championship is the Nintendo sanctioned Pokemon tournaments.
Okay.
Because there's a bunch of user-generated tournaments called Smogon University, which is all peer-reviewed and run off of love and not money. Whereas the VGC tournaments, you get points. There's a whole tournament circuit, and that's Pokemon. If you have any questions, make sure you're at the Blur Bar. I'll break everything down for you.
Sterling.
It's so crazy to me that you were like, oh, like via mystery gift. I was like, oh wow,
still going.
I remember mystery gift.
Yeah.
That's still going.
Yep.
Was that Gold and Silver days?
Oh yeah.
When they introduced that?
Oh yeah.
That's callback and a half.
So
are we old
for
yet?
our last hype news.
Okay.
Now this can go a lot of ways. But it has been confirmed that Demon Slayer is getting a video game. Now, it is by... Now, hold on. It's by CyberConnect 2. And CyberConnect 2 has done all of the Naruto Ninja Storms. So it's Bandai. It's just in... it's going to be in a format of... it's 1v1, but it's Tekken Tag style tournament. So you pick two characters and you can switch them in and out.
God.
Like me personally, I'm only running Nezuko, but that's just me personally. I would love to hear who everybody's going main.
Let's be honest, they haven't showcased enough characters. I feel for a quality fighting game.
Yeah, like
you got the main cast and some bulls.
Well, no, because here's the thing though, because even the I forget what the powerful top slayers are called.
Either pillars or asuras.
Asuras, that's what it is. The Asuras, you've only really seen Butterfly Girl
in action.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
or you have
everybody else
the
is
guy
like,
who is at the beginning of his Tanjiro's origin.
Oh, Gyu, Gyu, that boy.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, you've seen some people, unless they also add in like the ghosts that Tanjiro was like.
Oh, you're talking about
in the very
12,
beginning,
right? Or the moons or something like that?
No, the fox, the other spirits that
they got killed by some vampire, and then but I like that's we're gonna have to see more action from the other characters to actually really.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it will be a bad game. I'm just saying I need to be more invested in some other characters.
You don't want to run Zenitsu? You know he's gonna be the Danabiki of the game. You know it. Till his life bar dropped till like 1/3, and then he just.
But that's the thing, right?
Super that does like half.
Games like that, if you don't have a giant roster and you haven't seen them showcased, it doesn't really work. Which is why we got Dragon Ball Fighters, because everybody was like, oh, we know enough of these characters. We've all seen their power sets. I don't know who's running with Yamcha, but people choose violence.
Yo, when it first dropped, Yamcha was God tier, bro. When it first dropped, all the way back.
I understand. What I'm saying is, that's what I'm saying. Anyway,
that's all I got.
I was about to go on a tangent, but why do that to ourselves? So, that being said, we have any reviews?
Oh, did you not have news?
No, I don't have any more news after that.
Right.
Sterling, I believe.
Yes. Reviews. I have reviews. I recently watched the 5th season of The Magicians, or finished watching the 5th season of Magicians, rather. It was on Netflix for me, but it does come up on Sci-Fi.
It's on Sci-Fi's network.
Yes. I was just underwhelmed.
No, you weren't just whelmed?
I was underwhelmed.
Whelmed.
Just whelmed.
Just that lukewarm, nah. I was underwhelmed, and I don't know if it's because I really, really want to like the characters. There's definite favorites. Like Margot will always be like, if we just followed her, I'd be like, yeah, sure, why not? Who else? Finn is somebody who they don't give enough time to, but like I want more time of her because when she's on, it's a great thing. But all that aside, it was just the main thing that I didn't like, and this might be a negative or something to like binge culture in the state that we live in. There were 3 times where the world at large was at stake, and it could be the end of the world as you knew it, and it's just like.
But that was
the
3
first
times. That was 3 times in this season.
In this season of 13 episodes,
which has always been their plot or driving plot for each season.
But here's the
world's been at risk at least 10 times.
Here's the thing, I think. With the first couple of seasons, your big bad, who, spoiler alert, if anyone, salty,
yeah.
But
I'll put it in there.
But like in the first couple of seasons, the big bad with the Beast, he spanned for like 2 or 3 seasons. I want to say before they actually like.
I would say 2.
2 before they actually like really confronted him and started to like war with him and whatnot. Because like even then, they finished him on the 4th season? No, they finished him on the 3rd season. Then
second,
like they defeated him
in
on
the
3rd season
because the 3rd season was that whole plot of them being kings.
The monster.
Yeah, the other thing. The monster
okay.
And Fillory and all
so then that's it. So like you had 2 seasons of a big bad, right? Where like something crazy was happening and there was a lot of intrigue and a lot of like story development. Here it's just like I got as a watcher, as an audience member, and this once again, like I said, this might be because of binge culture. I got tired of the world being at stake. Like for 1 season, 3 times the world was like this might be the end of the world. Like, and it's just like, do I even care anymore? Because I know we're only on episode 6 and y'all got 7 more. Like, it doesn't matter to me. So
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, moving forward, what I would like to see, because I know we were talking about it earlier, Dan. Like they possibly have 2 seasons to 2 more seasons to get greenlit. I would like them to finish with season 7 and just actually have a well-developed story arcing over those 2 seasons, because I think in this world that we live in, I literally if I know for me personally, when season 6 comes out, I'm probably not going to watch it until it's all up on Netflix, or I'm probably not going to watch it until season 7 is all until both seasons are all up on Netflix, and then I'll just go through it. And that's just kind of like, I don't want to wait from week to week to week to week kind of a thing. So
to piggyback on it, I guess I've low-key been a fan of The Magicians from the rip. My wife read the books first. Then she was like, "Oh, they're making." When I told her they were making a show, she was like, "We're watching it." So, so we've been day ones with it. My biggest issue, and that's always in storytelling, is when you do something climactic, does it disrupt the status quo or shift it?
Like Killing Q.
So when they did that, that's when I was like, all right, I'm going to see what happens in this next season. Although I felt like Q was the glue of the entire series.
So I was thinking about this. I was thinking about, it's all I'm going to say, I'm going to let you finish. I was like, I don't think fans are really against you changing that source material, that crucial thing. Sometimes. There are some things that you just shouldn't fuck with, right? But with Q dying, I didn't read the books, but I was a fan of the series, but I didn't read the books. So I was like, okay, I don't know why you would kill this guy, but if you can pull it out, if you can do it, then all right, cool. And I think that's where a lot of people are, at least with that show, where it's just like, if you could do it, we'll be here with you. But you got
5
3
seconds. You got 5 seconds.
You got 3 episodes, 5 tops.
You got 5
right?
seconds. You got 5 seconds. That's it.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
And I feel you that, he was the main character, and, you as the audience, are assigned to one character, right? There's a lot of characters in the story, and they could be all main characters. but you're normally assigned to one who's driving the story. And so Quentin was that character. We love Margot,
very much,
but
so.
she's very like a B character.
Mm-hmm.
Fenn's
especially in the first couple
Fenn's
seasons.
a C character. Like,
yes.
And so what happens is, and so that we're not getting so deep into this universe for people who may not have watched it, you may not care about this review at all. There's, for anyone that doesn't know about the magicians, very quickly I'll say it's Harry Potter meets Chronicles of Narnia meets Quantum Man. Like, I would say, like, it's very like time travel driven, and everyone who knows me knows I'm not. Time travel is a thing, and so they did this very well in the way that they handled it, because they told you what timeline you were watching. You know, wasn't really confusing the plot. Didn't matter.
Right.
This season, they just threw all that out the window and were just like,
they got kind of messy.
Yeah. So, all those things put into a very mature universe, like Chronicles of Narnia and Harry Potter. I think that was just the writer, Lev Grossman, just knew, you know, we as an audience were growing up. And so those mature elements needed to be in there so that way we could watch it, I guess. But no, this season was messy. It was messy to say at best it was messy. At worst it was, I could like not watch another episode.
That's the thing, and
because I could have stopped at the last season. The song, the crying, like I was like,
I literally did until you said that you were actually watching it, and I was like, oh yeah, they did say that they were coming out with the 5th season. Yeah. I had totally forgot about it, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a try, and then I did, and I was like, regrettably, nah, yeah. So y'all got. I'm gonna wait till season 7.
So for season 5, if I had to give it any of these, I'd give it a 2.
Ooh.
I would almost jump down to a 1, but 2 for the sake of like Margot was still Margot, and they didn't abuse the characters as much, but there was also no change in the status quo. So
I think there was a change in it. I think it was just for the worse. Like, because the status quo was Quentin, and it was just like, all right, so he's kind of like your North Star, all that good stuff. But then you remove that. How does that change the dynamics of things? It changed it, but like, this was, if anything, was like their grief season where everybody's grieving over something. Everybody that they run into is almost.
I think that's a good take. Something. Grief season,
and it's just like
we've had those before.
It's just like, sure, but like, I mean,
I'm still
anyhow.
mine.
Well, welcome to the darkest timeline. I guess did you have a review, Sterling?
Wait, real quick. 2.5 on Magicians season 5.
Well, all right.
Sterling, did you have a review?
Nah.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry, we kind of blocked you out of that conversation.
Nah, you're good. Now I know I can focus on watching Star Wars Resistance and rewatching the sequels, so I can be prepared. Take note of that now.
Yeah. I'm like trying to like quietly ninja through Fire Force at the moment, so I'll give you guys a better review.
Which season you on?
First.
Cool. It's cool.
It's hard to watch. It's hard to watch anime with a kid. Like, it just is. Like, on my free time, she doesn't care, and so if y'all want to review on Moana, I got that. Frozen 2, I got that. Coco, I got
Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Fantastic Mr. Fox, been there. Like, I got all those reviews. Hit me up on those personally. Big Dan Rodan on Twitter, Facebook.
At the Blurred Bar.
If you add the Blurred Bar, that's worthless. No one else has a review but me. I got you.
Guess we're not allowed to review Moana?
Nope. I am the aficionado on that stuff right now.
He's like, oh, you want to review Moana? What happened at 47 minutes and 26 seconds? Oh,
Don't ask me. Right. Don't ask me because I'll angrily tell you.
So, with that being done, we go on to our main content. And our main content for tonight is actually, once again, going with For the Culture, as you've been seeing. We're going to do a celebration of Black voices within the nerd community, within the blurred community.
Quite literally.
Right, quite literally. And this is just some things where it's just like, when I was looking into it and seeing all the people, for personally what I was looking for was Black voices that were involved with like anime voiceovers. There's actually a poop ton.
A plethora?
But a plethora.
Options.
But unfortunately, and when I was reviewing this, it was like, this is so unfortunate because I just don't watch English dub anime.
I don't either.
And it's just like, missing. And I don't know if I would call it missing out on, but like, I never knew that they were even in that space to the degree that they are. Yeah. I was very surprised. You have like people like Amanda C. Miller, who plays Boruto, and Sailor Jupiter. She plays Sailor Jupiter. I was like, that's some pretty good. That's a pretty good resume off of those two alone. Like, I believe his name is Bo Billingsley or Billingsley, but he played Jet Black in Cowboy Bebop, which is just wild. And then also you have people who are like just pioneers, like Arthel and Darnell Isom, who made the first Black-owned anime studio, Dart Shitagia, which just stands for pretty much the art studio. But like very, very classy. And they've actually worked on quite a bit of good stuff. Sound and Fury apparently is on Netflix. I need to check that out because they did it, and I want to see what that's all about. They did The Weeknd's video, Snow Child, so pretty cool. But yeah, just like it's really cool to see stuff that we are in. And I do wish that there was more of a celebration of it, which is hence this episode.
Celebration of Black voices.
Yeah. So what did you guys find in your travels?
So I've always been a big like guessing that voice. When not just guessing that voice, but then just recognizing. So like voice acting is something I'm very like passionate about. Something I'm actually looking into doing in the future. Why not now, right?
Never knew that.
Why not start now? I love voice acting. I've lost some of the talent of being able to change my voice, but I used to be able to do like accents and change my voice, mimic people. But it's always been a passion of mine. And so because of that, I'm very like, I've spent long nights on IMDb and long nights pausing stuff that I was streaming and then just looking at the cast because I'm like, oh, I know who that is. You know, not just the famous names, but sometimes just like the fringe characters. Like, oh, that guest star. Mm-hmm. They didn't say who it was, but now we know. And so, and that kind of was, once again, attributed back to my dad. He would always be like, we'd be watching something, he'd be like, oh, you know who that is? And I'd be like, no, father. Who? And he'd be like,
that's not what you said.
I would assume that's what I would say because
No,
I was like
father.
when I was 5.
Who?
No, father. Who? But
Whom?
But no, like that would be something that he would always like call back to, and I thought that was always interesting. And I was like, no, I want to do that too. I want to be able to recognize people's voices. And since I work in the IT call center, I recognize voices a lot. I'm like, oh, I know what you're calling about. Anyway. It's broken, isn't it? But anyway,
did you
back
turn
into
it off and turn it back
just
on?
the history of Black voice acting. It has a dark past, to be honest. We don't talk about it but it's history, you know. So the first Black voice acting credit belongs to a man.
Dolezal. Just kidding.
Why? Leave her alone.
Little Slippy. Go sit in your corner. But it goes to a man by the name of James Baskett. Now, a lot of people may not know who that is, but you may not know him by name, but you would know him by face. James Baskett famously, but also infamously, was a actor who was known for his role in, and it hurts to say it, but he was known for his role in Dumbo. One of the Black Crows.
Is he the Crows?
He's one of the Crows.
No.
He's the voice of Fats Crow, who's the one that has most of the lines, and so, you know, that's the I've been done seen about everything when I see an elephant fly. But you also have to understand the time that he was living in, right? Like, that's in the 40s, and my man checks was having to be handed out. You got to work. You got to eat. And not at the same time not selling yourself out, but history being what it was. He grew up in a place where it was racially segregated in Atlanta. He wasn't even allowed to go to the movie premieres that he was in. Because of Atlanta being, segregated and all of that. And so a lot of his work, infamously known Song of the South, is probably his biggest credit. It's also his final credit, where he played Uncle Remus, Burr Fox, Burr Rabbit. He did all of those voices, and he was the first Black voice actor. And so I say infamously because of the stereotypes, which weren't necessarily something he was responsible for. At the same time, he was very much a part of it because it's a part of our history.
What is he gonna say? He's like, actually, sir, I don't feel comfortable playing this role because.
Well, I mean, what do? You just get fired and you find somebody else who will, right?
Exactly.
And like I said, I don't want to live in the darkness of it, but at the same time, like, he's a part of our history. Like, for the Black voice actors, if he didn't do it, you weren't going to get other roles where a Black voice or Fats Domino and things like that, like people who are already in like entertainment business, be able to get roles and opportunities. Cap Calloway is another one that a lot of people don't talk about, but he attributed more so he wasn't like voice acting in the same respect as much as performing music. Like, he would perform full songs in a sound stage, and then those songs would be in like Betty Boop cartoons, and St. James Infirmary, Minnie the Moocher. Those were all songs that were featured on Betty the Boop. Betty Boop. Betty the Boop. I don't know. Betty the Boop. It's Betty Boop.
Betty Boop. Betty Boop.
Why would it be Betty the Boop? Where did that come from?
Because 13% Black girl magic strikes.
But yeah, so those are like at staples because you can't take them away. They exist somewhere. If you haven't seen Dumbo, then good for you. If you have seen Dumbo, it's dark. It is what it is. You can't take it back. It lives out there. And Song of the South, I mean, you may not be able to find that anywhere. But the Song of the South,
I think they made it available with the disclaimer in front of it. Yeah. Like, this was a portrayal of
a lot of. You're absolutely right.
We've grown.
Disney put a disclaimer on a lot of their movies recently because like negative connotations, stereotypes, and they were just like, hey, at the time,
this was okay.
Hey, our bad. This isn't cool anymore.
We won't do this again. But it, if you want to watch this movie,
we told her to chill. We told her to chill. We told her to chill. She popped up.
Oh, call back. Anyway. And then you jump forward to about, I would say, 50 years or, not even 50 years. I would say 30 years. From the 40s into the 70s, you started seeing a lot more, a lot of us being used for voice acting and not anymore in stereotypes. And either writing our own cartoons, infamously known Bill Cosby, Fat Albert.
Question.
Yes.
And I've been debating on whether to tweet this or just put it on Facebook.
Well, it's now on the podcast, so.
It's now on the podcast, so it's here. Can we watch The Cosby Show in good faith, good conscience?
I think
because I've been watching clips,
and this is,
and I'm like, I'm so intrigued, but I'm like, I don't know if I can.
Prior to all,
I don't know if I should.
Right, prior to all of the news breaking out, right, I had seen The Cosby Show from beginning to end at least 10 times.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention,
you don't even try. It's just on.
It was just on, but at the same time, like I was actively like pursuing, like watching the first episode. I follow Bill Cosby's entire career.
That's what I want to do, because I watched it like maybe in passing. I saw like 20 minutes or something.
I mean, that's probably another episode, but talking about Bill Cosby, but like from beginning to end, as far as his career is concerned, I've listened to every comedy album. He's, as far as his career standpoints, has still been an icon to me, and an influence on me as far as like clean comedy and still being able to tell the good jokes.
Funny jokes, yeah.
So, from The Cosby Show, I would say, the role he plays, the money's going.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
The money's going to NBC. He's not getting any of that. Most of the time, he's not seeing any of that. But, that's probably a conversation to have off air. But
it's just interesting.
I'm gonna watch The Cosby Show because I don't know where to find it actively, and if y'all cancel me for that, that's fine. But I'm gonna Google it. The man's in prison. He's serving his time.
I have voice actors to talk about.
That's good. I wanted to get back.
It felt like you had thoughts, but okay, go ahead.
Like I said, we'll discuss that off the podcast.
Nah, Big Dan, you had something to say. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I really did. I'm sorry. I was talking about like Bill Cosby, having Fat Albert and other actors. Why can't I think of his name? The guy who played Panthro from Thundercats, who was also on The Cosby Show. I
recently just saw that.
Yeah, James Earl Jones, just quietly being a voice actor in the most famous way.
The most iconic.
There's no one else that you can put above James Earl Jones for voice acting.
Earl Hyman.
Yes, Earl Hyman. Thank you. But there's no bigger name in voice acting than James Earl Jones. Fight me.
Fun fact. They had to fight James Earl Jones to give him the credit for Darth Vader. He was like, no, my voice is like kind of an effect. And they're like, no.
But, I mean, because they were going to give the credit to his, the man who was physically acting in them. And I can't.
Were they?
They were.
Yes.
But the first test shoot was the man using his own voice.
And I
dare you to go back and find that
clip. Listen to it, yo.
It is hilarious. Knowing what we know now, what we've seen, living this life.
What we have.
Yeah. So James Earl Jones obviously is iconic in a legendary way, to the point where anyone else that came in and did this kind of have to show him props, because he didn't just give you Darth Vader. He walked away with the strength of Mufasa. Like
Mufasa.
I was going to say, wasn't he also Mufasa?
Say it again.
Mufasa. No, like the commanding voice that he had, and that's his career in general is something I would talk at length about, because I respect that man so greatly. He is a national treasure. He's a Black history treasure. He's a blurred culture treasure, because he walked into a soundstage, never put on the costume. Thank God he did. I don't know if I would have been okay with him being in costume, but
him showing up as in the Darth Vader suit.
Who knows? But he. Anyway, so thank you, James Earl Jones, for the voice of blackness and the credit that only you can walk away with. Like, I mean, you need an Academy Award just for that voice alone, and maybe they'll give you an honorary one. But I would say you give roses while he's still here, right?
Right.
Like
exactly.
just give the man his credit. Disney
definitely got
happen.
the Blur Bar Award, and that's for you.
Nope. I was trying to find the claps. I won't do that again. Nope. There we go.
Whoa, little Slippy.
You tried it.
Come on, little Slippy.
So I'm going to try this again. I'm going to cue this up. James Earl Jones, thank you.
Thank you.
So Sterling, you had some lists.
Yeah, I got some names, man. I got some names, some contribution to one, nerddom as a whole, and then two, specifically for blurreddom. And we're going to start off with, very possibly, if not the GOAT tier. Of course, the man himself, Phil Lamar, hailing from Los Angeles, starting out with Mad TV.
Oh, you found the button?
I found it.
Oh, you're not a little slippy no more?
Nope. He knows who he is.
But now, Phil Lamar is personally, to me, and I'm sure to many people listening, just super important. We got Jon Stewart. Oh, and this is off the rip. Jon Stewart. We got Virgil Hawkins. Okay, we got Hermes Conrad from Futurama.
Loretta
that's
from
all.
Family
We got
Guy.
Samurai Jack. Yeah. We got and the cool, amazing thing about Phil Lamar. One, I don't care what he's in or what he's doing. As soon as I hear him, like, that's Phil Lamar. I hear you. But he has so many quote unquote additional voice titles to where he is like a world. For Star Wars Clone Wars, I'm pretty sure they just did not let that man go home. Bottom line. And he was Bail Organa. He was Bail Organa in Clone Wars and in Rebels. So even more so than really like anyway. But just with
He
Virgil.
was in Pulp Fiction?
Yeah.
Yes, he was Marvin in Pulp Fiction. He got shot.
That's one of
and
the,
that's what they had
like
to
one
take
of
the
his
car.
first roles, actually.
Yeah. That's why they had to take the car to the dude who fixes everything.
And apparently Incredibles too.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's everywhere.
He's everywhere. Even if he's just like 2 seconds of a voice. He's just he's getting the checks, man. He's getting the checks. And well deserved.
I was about to say, I have to wonder how much like his royalties must be like.
I would like to think so. At the same time, like voice acting is probably on a different pay rate than it is.
It's
for,
very
it's not as lucrative. He's probably the most lucrative.
He's probably the most lucrative just because of his record,
his breadth of
his collection,
I mean,
his library.
You can call him in for anything, absolutely anything.
One day we can call. Hopefully, we can call him.
I
need y'all to blow up the blurred bar enough so I can meet Phil Lamar.
Phil Lamar, we're looking at you, sir. We want you to come in. Please do so.
Yes.
Not come in because COVID, but we'll send you.
Well, we don't know when we don't know when he'll be able to be it.
He was supposed to be in Greater Philadelphia. He's here. He was at Keystone. Yeah. He was supposed to be in Greater Philadelphia. He's on the con circuit. And that's another awesome thing that like there are some people that never hit the con circuit. I've seen Phil Lamar for years. Well, I've seen him in con circuit. I haven't met him yet, but I'm gonna.
One day. These are goals.
One day. Oh. It's gonna be. I'm gonna pay my money. I'm gonna get my picture. I'm gonna get my autograph. I'm gonna shake his hand, and then I'm gonna go have an emotional breakdown in the corner.
No. I will cry in front of him. I'm willing to do that.
You can't disappoint a picture.
Yeah, you can't disappoint a picture. We'll get to that in a second.
But continuing with absolute GOAT tier and amazing representation for black characters across the board. We got Cree Summer herself. Starting out, we got with Susie Carmichael. For me and a generation, this was the beginning of seeing ourselves in a cartoon. Tagging in, we also got Maxine from Batman Beyond. Yet another she was black with pink hair. And I was like, hey, I see
Elmira?
I see you over there. Elvira from Tiny Toons.
Yeah.
Yep. And then she's another one where literally anywhere I'm like, there go Cree Summer. She right there. I see her.
I mean, her acting career spans also extremely like wide range. In a different world, where she really got her start.
Yep.
She was in Drawn Together.
Yes.
Yeah, she was Foxy, bro.
Oh, she's not for real,
just for play.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, she's the best. She was Kita in Atlantis. So she like the sheer breadth of any of these people can do. It's just like any of these characters. When I was watching Clone Wars and Phil Lamar is just like literally everybody's like, oh, he's Admiral Trench. Okay, he's this guy. All right, he's that guy. Same with Cree Summer. It's like Cree Summer could be anywhere. Like literally anywhere. She's Valerie, Danny Phantom, number 5. And yet again, when in my childhood, seeing Valerie from Danny Phantom, seeing us on screen, Continuing with my GOAT tier, we got the man himself, Keith David, the Arbiter, straight up iconic across nerd culture. I don't care what your background is. You know what Halo is, right? Like, playing such an iconic character. The really cool part about Keith David, though, is I feel like he is, and compared to Phil Lamar and Cree Summer, he did a lot more physical acting role as well. He was in Chronicles of Riddick, and you saw him, but he's got the Arbiter, Dr. Facilier, on getting that Disney money, I just learned, and it makes sense when I hear it, he was Chaos in Dissidia Final Fantasy, the final boss. And I was like, oh, snap. Yeah, that's my boy.
He was Goliath.
He played Goliath in Gargoyles.
And Gargoyles. I was going to say, he's Goliath in Gargoyles.
That's one of his most famous roles, for real, as a 90s kid. Keith David,
Apparently he was in 21 Bridges, too. R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman.
Damn.
Yeah. Keith David, phenomenal actor, and then a more phenomenal voice actor.
He was also in Armageddon.
Rick and Morty would probably be one of his most recent work as playing the president. And, I think he's one of those people who takes his work very serious, but at the same time doesn't take himself very serious. And I think that allows that flexibility that... because Cree Summers, obviously just descends into her role of whatever she's playing, that you're just like, it's Cree Summers in the background, but her character, you're listening to Susie Carmichael, or you're listening to Five, you're listening to Nikita, and Keith David at the same time. For me, whenever I hear him talk, I'm just like, nope, that's Keith David. That's Keith David. That's Keith David. But
what's interesting... Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, what's interesting, especially with this, is that I know we're talking about, like, voiceover actors, but it's like, with Keith David, when I, like, pulled up the picture, I'm like, oh, no, like, I recognize him. Like,
he's the dude from Future Man, right?
Well, I don't know what it is, but I know I've seen him before. Yeah. He has, like, that. I was like, I know I've seen that before. Like, Cree Summers and Phil Lamar, when I looked them up, I was like, nah, I haven't seen them. Phil Lamar, like, I understand his breadth of work. So, like, I understand that he is everywhere. But before, he could have bumped me on the street, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, like, and just kept it moving.
I'm glad he bumped into you, because if he bumped into me, I would have never washed my shoulder.
Real tears.
I would have never washed my shoulder. I would have broken down in the street. I would have been on the news. I'd be like, I've been bumped by Phil Lamar. I'm not okay.
I think there's a level of interesting, for better or for worse, anonymity to doing voice work, where it's like somebody like Phil Lamar, if his acting roles were actually like him in front of the camera, as opposed to being through a character that we see, he'd probably be he'd be a A-lister.
He'd
be one of those.
He's in the pantheon for voice acting.
Yes.
He has credits, but at the same time, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, he's just like, he has that. It's almost the best of both worlds of being like recognized on such a level, but also like at the same time, you could bump into probably a lot of people and they don't know who you are, even though they've probably listened to your voice like 10 minutes ago, right?
Some of them. Some people. No. Right.
Some people.
Yeah, no.
But it's just,
I'm telling you, I would melt in the ground and just be like, oh, Phil Lamar, you bumped me. I am not worthy. Oh.
That's funny.
A very funny, very quick story about Keith David. We're jumping back to Keith David. In the last season of Star vs. the Forces of Evil, a great show on Disney, there was a character, Glossaric, who just like stopped talking for a season. And then when he started talking, it was Keith David. They switched the voice actor to be Keith David. So he like says this, he like starts talking to like disappears, and literally Star's line is like, did his voice sound different to you? And I was like, yeah, they got that money. That's what happened. They got the bag secured. That's what happened.
Yeah, I mean, and while these are people that often are behind the scenes, you also have names like Kevin Michael Richardson, who just
prolific. Prolific everywhere.
As far as on the male side of acting, Kevin Michael Richardson would probably be second to Phil Lamar. Like Phil Lamar would just be just above him as far as iconic roles because Kevin Michael Richardson works on the
man doesn't stop. Did you know he was in Clerks too?
Yes, Kevin. when I tell you I care about these people like they my family, like Kevin Michael Richardson is another one where I'm just like when he plays Junior on the Cleveland show. Hey, Dad, like I'm like this is wonderful.
Oh, he was in the Boondocks.
Kevin Michael. Yes. First of all, Boondocks had everybody at one point.
They
Boondocks definitely made sure like
choice.
all of our voices were heard. As far as black actors.
Whoa. You know what's wild? Sorry.
You gotta stop being on IMDb right now. Like.
Well, I'm not there, but I am on Google's. Okay. I'm on the Google's. Boondocks has a 48% on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's because half the world is white. Mm-hmm. So I said what I said. I'm a
large percentage of. Never mind. Go ahead. Please continue. I didn't mean to cut you off. Please.
No. You're fine.
I would love to hear that.
Yeah, go ahead, Sterling. Finish what you had to say.
This is your space, man. This is your space. If you can't speak here, you can't speak nowhere.
Proceed.
Well,
okay.
I feel like Gina Carano probably felt the same way, but whatever.
I mean,
they told her to chill. They told her to chill.
But we will not fire you.
No.
You can't get fired.
You mean it?
No, you can't.
You mean it? Y'all really mean it?
All right. Uh-oh. I feel worried, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish what I was saying.
Right.
that don't bear well for anyone. But no, Kevin Michael Richardson, his just library is full of work. He used to be on this show, and I don't even remember what it was called, where he played like this giant buffalo that would read books. I gotta look it up and find out what it was. But they would read books. And I was like very into that show. I don't know why, but I was.
Books are dope.
Books are dope.
Wasn't he Trigon?
Yes.
And Teen Titans?
He was.
Oh, wow. He was.
You have names like, Carrie Payton. Just there's so much as far as what our voices that we've lended to pop culture. Not just being black, but like just in general.
For everybody.
You had, Tiny Lester lending his voice to multiple characters, not just being himself, but like doing cartoons. R.I.P. James Avery being Shredder.
Yeah, Uncle Phil. We have in newer things Erica Luttrell, who is Sapphire and Pilots Paracha in Steven Universe.
Yeah,
and I was super hype.
And you got John Witherspoon, obviously famously known for Boondocks as being Granddad.
I think he hit the point where I don't even think he was just acting. Like he could just talk.
He was himself. No, he was very much himself,
God.
And it was organic. But at the same time, like you wouldn't have seen John Witherspoon on the street and been like, "A, B," calling him Granddad. Like he has other roles.
He was Pops first.
He was Pops. His roles on Friday, all of that. But then you have Isaac Hayes, who's famously known for his music, but at the same time, he's Chef.
Chef.
R.I.P. Hey, children. Jaleel White. Steve Urkel.
Sonic the Hedgehog. Like, that's all for y'all. This is we didn't have to go that hard, but we did.
We didn't have to go that hard, but like being Sonic the Hedgehog, and first of all, I watched that show religiously.
Did you watch Sonic Underground?
Shut up. So, you won't do that to me today.
I just wanted to know. You can say no. It's fine.
Nope. Regina King. I mean, both being Huey and Riley, which the flexibility in her voice for that role was just phenomenal.
When I hear that she did both of those things, I have to see the footage.
I need receipts.
There is
I need
footage.
receipts.
There's footage on.
I'm not saying that she can't do it, but like it's just like what?
That's what makes you great, right? Like that's what separates you from being good and then being great.
No, legit.
Viola Davis, like when I tell you I'm deep into this voice acting stuff, like she's had like small or minor roles on like American Dad, and I was like, I know her, I know that voice.
Wait a minute, I know that feeling when you hear somebody, you're like, wait. I love when, and I know, let me leave a comment when this happens to y'all. But you don't know the person's name, but you're like, yo, I know that's the dude that played Vector.
IMDb is the greatest invention of all time.
It's funny because the way you guys are about this with voice acting, that's the same way when I see their faces, I'm like, oh, that's the bull. That's
fair.
Like almost everybody else,
everybody
right?
else.
Like it's like, oh, that's you know who that is.
That's
yeah.
the boy that played.
He was in that thing where he was going do 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 do, and you know.
Right. No, legit with WandaVision. Oh, that's fresh off the boat. That's fresh off the boat.
First of all, his name is Jim Halpert. Okay, don't disrespect.
Hey,
That's
that's
an office joke. It's an office joke because
hey.
he's in one episode of The Office where he plays Jim, and it's hilarious. But
oh, it's a prank on
Dwight. Yep.
Yeah.
where Dwight just believes
I remember
Asian Jim, and I'm like, this is hilarious. You have LeVar Burton,
funny.
who
Oh my
first
goodness.
of all, LeVar Burton. Anyone who's ever seen the episode of Community knows how I feel. I feel very similar to how Donald Glover feels about that, or Troy Barnes feels about that. I don't know if I'd be okay in the presence of LeVar Burton, and I know that for sure. Like from Roots to then being Kwame in Captain Planet to his various other roles, like in Adventure Time,
Star Trek.
Jordy LaForge. Yeah, man.
And like to have to at any point sit in front of any of these people, I would probably just not be okay.
Yeah,
you'd be like, why are you crying? I'm
German?
like, you know why?
Yes,
you're
he
here.
was born in Germany.
I'm here. You're here. This isn't real.
You can't disappoint a picture.
You can't disappoint a picture. LeVar Burton, please send me a picture. Don't meet me in person. I'm dead serious. I'm very much Troy Barnes in that situation. I will clam up to the point where it's just like I might lose weight instantly in front of you. I shrink into myself. I'm not okay.
But we can go on and on and on and on. We would be remiss. Now this isn't a voice acting thing, but as far as contributions of Black people to nerd culture in general, got to talk about Jerry Lawson.
Yeah,
who headed the team responsible for working on the commercial cartridges for video games.
Yeah.
We're talking everything. You're talking Mario Kart, Super Mario Kart, like GoldenEye wouldn't be possible at all. The Switch is still using cartridges. Like
to this day.
Everything, like the breath, like I always stagger to think about, like, from this person's ambition, which then bled into other people, what bonds have been made, what friendships have been built, what, like, friendships have been mended, what relationships
or destroyed. Smash Brothers can get out of control, right?
Shout out to Pass the Vibes.
Oh, man.
We gonna tag him.
Yeah, we'll tag
but
him.
Yeah.
Yes, Jerry Lawson, his perpetual belief in forward motion gave us what we know today.
Yeah, and
but we
other voices who may not necessarily have spoken on screen, Dwayne McDuffie. And if anyone who doesn't know, I urge you, I pressure you to search as far as Black history is concerned in nerd culture, as far as comic books, TV, and everything, video games. This man, Dwayne McDuffie, who recently passed, I would say in the last 2 or 3 years, he was everywhere, and you saw his name, but you didn't know who he was. He received multiple awards. He created Damage Control, who is a very very living part of the Marvel Universe. So if you've seen the first Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Homecoming in the MCU, Damage Control is mentioned. Obviously, they're a part of the Vulture origin story. And, they wouldn't have that name to use if it wasn't for him. As far as in the comic book world, Damage Control.
Was he heavily involved in Static Shock?
Static Shock, yeah. Teen Titan. He has writing credits for Teen Titans, Scooby-Doo. Created the story for the video game for Justice League Heroes. This man was busy. And
there
everything.
was a Prince comic.
Yeah.
Like the artist, formerly known as Prince.
Of course.
Was hired as far as story and credits for Ben 10.
Oh, wow.
Writing credits for the popular DC animated movies for Crisis on Two Earths, Justice League Doom, All-Star Superman. This man was busy. And I feel like, sometimes it's our job to dig for that history. Because you come up with gold. A lot of times we do the work, but we don't get the same awards. We're not put on the forefront. Our name may not be on everything. It may be in a rolling credits. But Dwayne McDuffie is one of those people that, as far as blurred culture is concerned, if you've watched any of these things growing up, if you've read any of these things growing up, the man deserves props. So I'm going to clap on him one time. 2 times. There we go.
Blessings. Bless up.
Yeah. There's other giant names, obviously, in the nerd industry, and we'll talk about them. And we lost Josh. I don't know what happened there. But we'll keep going. You have Eartha Kitt, who, being the first black Catwoman.
And just watch her. Just watch her and tell. There's no one else.
Yeah.
Dude.
And I mean, not even blurred history, but black history. We recently lost Cicely Tyson, which I feel like it's a sore spot for me. I try not to think about it because that woman was just like in everything. And because my parents
everywhere
made sure that I never was absent from, being in tune with what was happening for our culture, she was in it from Roots all the way into her last major acting credits with How to Get Away with Murder. I've watched that woman work for years, and she was working long before I was born, and and that is a treasure and a half. We got Josh back, and so you have Cicely Tyson, you have many names, obviously, who we may not have mentioned yet, but at the same time, like, it is wonderful.
Eartha Kitt?
Yeah, you just missed it. But
I just missed it, damn it.
Eartha Kitt was on that list. Morgan Freeman, that man been working for forever. That man has been an old man all my life.
No, legit. I don't remember a time where I looked at Morgan Freeman and was like, oh no, he's 30.
Nah. What? I don't think there's a picture of Morgan Freeman being 30. I think Morgan Freeman has been alive for a long time. And he obviously at one point was 30. I don't think there's records of that. He has been the old wise man all my life.
No, so there's a commercial for cigarettes with young Morgan Freeman. And it's very strange to see. But I'll link it.
Nope.
But
I don't believe it. It's not real. Fake news.
Throwing in names of the greats, paving the way for everybody. We have to talk about Dr. Pam Grier, PhD.
Yes.
The actress who paved the way. She was Jackie Brown. She was Coffee.
She was a superhero before we gave her the title.
Straight up.
She was legit an action superhero before we gave her the title.
Yeah. But paving the way and just seeing us on screen,
Pearl Bailey,
Pearl Bailey, Pearl Bailey and Cab Calloway. Yeah. The successful act of the all-black Hello Dolly, which shakes me to my soul. And she was in Carmen with Dorothy Dandridge and Harry Belafonte. It just shakes me to my core to just like how they tried to keep us down. And we were like, Nah, we in here. We gotta do it to him.
What you mean?
To that point, I was thinking about it, and I was like, and I don't. To the point, I was thinking about it, and I was just like, you know what? And a lot of history, and a lot of things that we're doing, we being black people. Not you.
Stop! Don't stop. Just
leave her alone.
Stop.
She ain't had a job in 6 years. Leave her alone.
Gosh. Okay.
She ain't worked in 6 years. Leave her alone.
Anywho,
she black now.
Psych. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Welcome to the black experience. Anyway, go ahead.
So it was it's just interesting. It's interesting because it's like people are like, oh wow, black people did this, black people did that. Oh wow, you black people do this, you guys do that. And it's like, nah, like we been dope. Y'all just finding out. Like, and it's just like, and no, it's like
I wish we could record that line and just keep that. I love that. We've been dope. But it's just y'all like, just got here. That's all.
It's just like, and unfortunately, because of the way the education system is, which is a legit different podcast.
That's a whole different podcast. That doesn't happen on the Blur Bar.
It's just that, like,
yeah,
we might like some black people don't even know that, like, like, love yourself, King.
Yeah.
Respect yourself. You great. You great. Do you. Right. Do you. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's crazy. And that's kind of how I felt when I was looking at all of the voice actors in anime of just like, oh no, like, we here. We are in here. We are in here. We are in here. Like,
it's almost disrespectful to not mention names like Samuel Jackson or, you know.
Who is okay? So super important. He was Mace Windu. So the prequels were like 01, 02, 03, 04, 05, right? Mm-hmm. Whatever. And here we have not just one of the most powerful Jedi as a black man, and that was really important to me. Like to see, I was like, oh, I too can be a Jedi.
Only different looking lightsaber.
It was clean.
4 years.
It was clean.
4 years, like before they start introducing like white and like yellow and all that. No. Mm-hmm. He was like,
everybody knew if you had purple, it was like,
mine's gonna be purple, and that's it. If it's not, I quit. And before him, you have obviously Billy D. Williams, who was the first black man in Star Wars, the only black man in Star Wars, other than the voice of James Earl Jones. And, you know, like I said, the list grows, and the more we talk about it, the more we could be on this podcast for hours, because, you know, we don't, as a people,
we been dope. Y'all just getting here.
Exactly. Oh man, one of these days we're gonna save that. I'm gonna just need you to record that, save it as a sound effect.
I mean, but we gotta realize is we've been dope, but they tried to keep us down, and we were still dope, and now we're 4 times as dope.
We didn't have the access. The access is everything,
and you know, and record keeping for whatever reason, like if they wanted to get rid of us out of history, don't keep such good records. Like, why?
Because no, that's us. That's us yelling about we will not be forgotten.
You're right.
Like,
no, but
I said they tried to do a pretty good job of keeping us out of history.
But like at the same time, like you know, your blackness is loud. Like it ain't my style. It ain't my shade. It ain't what I do. It ain't what I say. I'm just hella black. That's a quote from Toby Wingway. You know, I'm just hella black. And that's the beauty of it. Like, I think with all the sadness that could be surrounded by our trauma, right? Like all the hard-won battles that each of these individuals that we've named and names that we've missed, like these people had to fight just to be in front of a screen, to be on a screen, and then not even be able to show your face. Like, you know, we go back, if we all go all the way back to James Basket, right? Like, you know, you can be mad about the Uncle Tom roles he played and, you know, the exploitation and the segregation that he experienced. He still had to deal with being a black man in America when they told you were less than. So
overtly.
Like, they weren't like passive with it. Like, they didn't say, oh, he was a thug, you know, there's a thug, you know, some man stole my purse. You know, no, they called this man out of his name, They called this man everything other than his name. And, so for those things, like, it's a beautiful thing to see, like, out of the ashes, this phoenix that keeps rising over and over again. We can go all the way back to Egypt and all that stuff, but at the same time, like, the American history.
Dr. Umar.
Nope. Won't do it. Won't do it. Don't you do that. You do that right now, I will have issues.
The Blur Bar has a very short band list.
Right. So, no, but I mean, like, because you start, I think people often feel, like, concerned to be political about it, but it's not about political. It's about just being seen and being heard and being respected, and that applies to every person in this world. But at the same time, like, I can only speak for the Black experience. Like, I woke up and watched Virgil fighting villains, and that mattered to me. I woke up and saw a Black man in a Green Lantern costume, and it mattered to me. James Rhodes went from being a B character to now being on the roster of Avengers. Samuel L. Jackson went and literally changed the game. Like, they went and were like, oh, we're going to make a Black Nick Fury, which at the time for me, I was like, I was even against it at one point, because I was just like, Nick Fury is a white man with an eye patch. Like, let it ride. Then it was like, no, we want to get Samuel L. Jackson. And I'm like, that's it.
So I have to say, it fits so perfectly that this is news to me. I didn't know.
Yeah,
Nick
see?
Fury was a
You didn't even know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And Nick Fury, you've been around for forever, dog. Like,
forever.
I think that's the wonderful thing with this new age of bringing comic books or any type of media to, like, the forefront, where it can be seen by a lot of people. Where this is the time, if you're gonna make a switch, it's in that first shift, right?
I think that's a beautiful, like, setup for next, our next podcast is, talking about race bending, and does it help or does it hurt?
I'm excited. I forgot that was our next joint.
Yeah, that's the next one. So
great.
Look
I'm here for that one.
Yeah, and we'll have that conversation.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, but I mean, we lost Josh again. I don't know what's going on with him. Anyway,
I don't know.
No, like, the beauty of just being able to exist, right? And then be able to work, and your name being on those credits, right? Like like your name showing up in lights. Like, you fought those battles that none of us had to work for, had to fight. No one else had your experience in getting into the industry. And then at the same time, like, you stayed, you persisted, and despite you're not just like, you're not just the Black voice actor. Like, you're the voice actor. Like Phil Lamar, you're the bull. Like, like Seth MacFarlane has the show, but you the bull. Like,
yeah,
they had to call. They had to call you. They had to call you to get the to play that part. Cree Summers, you didn't create the show, but they had to call you. Because it was like, this is who we want. And, you did the audition process and all that, but then you created the most iconic role to matter to people who, didn't see their face anywhere else. Yeah. And,
it's powerful stuff, man.
I don't want to cry. I'm not going to cry about it. But, it's,
I
it's
feel
beautiful.
It, though. I feel it.
Yeah.
But piggybacking off of that energy, there is still work to be done. There's still so much work to be done. And while it is so amazing that we have done so much,
you took off the glasses. That's pointed.
We have come so far, but, like, our time is here.
Yeah.
And our fight is here. In the video game industry, when I was doing research trying to find our names, there is still not accurate representation for us when it comes to the writer's room, when it comes to the developers, when it comes to the producers, when it comes to the directors. So these names that we are mentioning have paved the way, have just been absolutely quintessential, ubiquitous even. But our time is here now.
Yeah, and the beauty is
still
that
so much more to be done.
Exactly, we can. This episode's not a call to action, but at the same time, it's like, create, just make it.
Just make it.
Just make it.
Whatever it is, just make it.
Like, for a long time, I held on to this podcast idea, and I was just like, do I do it? Who's gonna watch it? Who do I get? Who do I get to be on this with me? And then, you have to stop and not be afraid and just do it. And I think, whether this, blows up and we get 1 million followers or we get 5, the goal is, at the end of the day, is to create. And you keep creating, keep being creative. These people paved the way for us to not have to, they walk so we could run, right? So
we running, baby.
And we run.
We going.
We everywhere. I mean, just on, the social media side of it alone, we have other podcasts following us the same way we're following them. We're not robbing each other of each other's followers or listeners. We out here creating, baby. I love it. This is beautiful.
A rising tide raises all ships.
Yeah. So, if you black or you white, create. But the idea is
black people definitely
folks,
create.
I think sometimes the fear is that you're not going to be accepted or you're not going to be embraced. Just create. Create quality, and it will come back to you. Slowly, because that's the way America's process works. I don't know why. We still get $1,000 iPhones made on the cheap. But, create. That's a whole nother podcast. I was about to go somewhere with that. I'm trying to linger on for Josh to come back, but he may not.
Me too. Where is the guy?
But I feel like we've reached the resting space for our episode, because we're going to come back, like I said, next week, and we're going to talk about race bending and, is it inclusion or diversity?
Where's the line?
Where's the line? Is it pandering? Or is it accepting? And we'll get there. Some of us may disagree, but that's where we are.
Probably.
Most likely, you already know me. I'm Big Dan. Big Dan, he threw the controversy in there for no reason. Because, not no reason, but because
it's got to be said.
It's got to be said.
Not easy.
So, for this XP, I'm going to give you the voice of conscience, voiced by Phil Lamar.
The man himself.
It's limited use for anyone that's not black, unfortunately. So you got 15 tries of Phil Lamar, voice of
charges.
It's refillable by the well of knowledge. So watch all of his shows. If you watch Justice League or Static Shock, it will refill on its own, and you get about 25 XP. I don't think you level up yet, but you're getting there.
You're getting there.
Black History Month, so probably by the end of this, y'all level up. So last but not least, we will bid you adieu. And tune in for the next episode, and we will see you there. Peace out.
We love to hear from you.
Yes, follow us.
Follow us. We follow our flow page. Follow, subscribe, hit the bell. Tell a friend. That's what the word of mouth goes so far. But I'm the ace trainer, Argent Sterling Spencer.
And I am Big Dan Rodan, coming at you live from the 215. Oh, last but not least, you are able to endorse us on Anchor. That's an option. I'm not telling you have to do it.
Endorse? What do you mean?
What do I mean? I mean that you can pay us a monthly subscription fee to support us, to keep this going. If you really love us and you need the lights to be on, because if I turn these lights off, this will be a very dark film.
It's the darkest timeline. Right?
Darkest timeline of all time. You can do that. And if you have more questions, you can always go to Anchor and find out how to support us. But the link will be always in our bio. And we bid you adieu. Take it easy.
Good night, everybody. Hit that beat.